Can we talk? We asked you to give us ideas for stocks to do analysis on so that we can give you our unbiased opinions. And you did, and we thank you. However, we might want to rethink that because the stock you gave us is Petrobras, PBR.
Well, he said that pretty good. Say it again.
Petrobras. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how I'm saying it.
If that's right, comment and tell us, because
Exactly.
I can't say it like that.
And I apologize to all of our Portuguese-speaking friends out there. You can tell me how to say it right. That's in my head. That's how I hear it.
I can tell you how to say other things too.
So
we analyzed it. You asked for it.
We analyzed it, and oh my God, there is so much into this. We need to rethink you giving us stocks.
There is a lot to unpack with this company, and there's so much here in terms of the political influences and the corruption and all of that they actually made a documentary series and a couple movies on this.
We had to go beyond the financials just to even understand this company.
The series were called The Mechanism from Netflix, Alicia Federal, and The Edge of Democracy. So if you want to know a little bit more about Hollywood's take, which there's probably some liberties given in there, but they will tell you what's going on with the business. So if that gives you an idea of how much that is into this company, that'll give you a good indication. We have 3 pages of notes on just that part, but when we're talking about the stock, you probably here because you want to know is the dividend that they pay, which is 68%.
Which is probably why you gave it to us.
Is it sustainable, and are they financially a good buy long term? We'll get into that because we can't talk about whether or not we would buy it until we talk about the history and all the corruption. But before we get to those things, we can cover some of the financial aspects. As far as a business goes, they're big.
Huge. They're the 17th largest oil company in the world. That's saying something.
They're on the Forbes 500. They're the 65 largest public company in the world, and they represent almost 5% of Brazil's GDP. So this is not a small business.
Yeah.
So even with all the corruption, are they going to be around? Probably.
And it's an oil company. It's an energy company. So you know they make money.
Yeah. Yes. They produce a product that people have to have.
Yeah.
As far as the finances go, their net income, if you look at their operating income, their cost of revenue, their gross revenue, their assets, their liabilities, if you get into all of those things, the business itself looks relatively stable. In fact, the last 5 quarters, you can see that their net revenue went up. Now, their cash flow is going down. Some of that has to do with litigation and the corruption side of it, but others of it has to do with renewable energy.
Right.
They're digging into biofuels and a lot of the renewables that you see Chevron.
And yeah, they're really doing a lot of research with the new management due to the corruption to get away from that mindset of corruption and into a mindset of, hey, we're helping the environment and we're doing all these neat things. So don't look over here. Look over here.
From a financial standpoint, the company doesn't look bad. That's not a bad thing. The dividend, though, is all over the place.
Every day it changes. I look at it. Sometimes it's 50%. Sometimes it's 77%. Sometimes it's 68%. It's like, I don't know what it's going to be.
They can't gauge it because of the settlements that are happening and because of 54% of this stock is owned by the Brazilian government. And the Brazilian government has voting rights on this stock, which means that they're basically a government entity. Not fully, but they are a government entity. In fact, the president of the country is also electing the board members and CEO of the business itself.
Right.
So the dividend, is that going to be sustainable? Well, we don't know. That's up to what happens with the entire board and all the executives and everybody else who were just replaced. These people were all just removed and all just replaced.
All but one guy.
All but one guy.
He's got an angel halo. He's the only one that...
He's the only one that's been there for like 17 years.
Yeah.
That's the finances of it, but I don't want you to make a decision until you hear this next part. Because the government owns this business. And because it's a sovereign entity, there's a lot of things that are somewhat untouchable. There was an operation called Operation Carwash that started. The NSA was involved. Edward Snowden had disclosed some information about this. And of this Operation Carwash, there was over 1,000 arrests made. So there's a lot to unpack with what happened here. That's why they made these movies. But the guy at the helm, Luis, at the time that got caught up in all the bribery, all of the, I mean, there was a ton of stuff here. Prostitution, yachts.
Oh yeah, yachts being, there's probably some murders.
They had 11 countries involved in this investigation, and there was billions of dollars being, originally which started out as a laundering expedition, became this huge ordeal. The guy at the helm at the time was Luis. He's the current re-elected president after serving over 580 days of jail time for these very charges. You got to take that into account when you're buying a stock, that the people that caused the problems are back in charge once again. Now they did say that they want to clean it up, and they did say that they want to show that the culture of the business has changed. They want to move away from the corruption and the scandals, and we would like to believe them, but they have to actually show us that, because some of the stuff that's happening, even the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation sued these guys and got settled for $2.84 billion.
Oh yeah, and Vanguard Group was another one that sued.
Group, yep.
So there's a number of people.
The U.S. government, too, they settled for $850 million based on some of the corruption things that were taking place. To get into all of that, this is where we stall a little bit. Brian and I have rehearsed this a few times and tried to figure out how we're going to tell you what's going on. It's probably better that you check the Wikipedia out, you maybe watch some of the documentaries on it. There's a lot there. But as an investment decision, would we buy the stock?
Not right now, because they wiped out the entire management team. They're putting in a new management team in place. I looked this up because I want to get this right. Luis Inacio Lula de Silva, maybe? If I got that right?
Don't ask me to say that. I'm going to butcher it.
Is back being the president as of January 1st, which was 3 days ago. This is the 4th of January. I want to see what happens with their new path. If they're actually going to make good on their promises of renewable energy, cleaning up the corruption within the company, getting rid of the environment that is there. So I want to see that. If they do that and they could keep the profits going, they might be a good buy.
If
If
they actually do it. If you had the stock back in 2014, 2010, and back in 2010, I had looked at this company, and the people that were mentoring me at the time said, Tom, don't do it. There's a lot of corruption there. And I just took them at their word. I just said, oh, okay, well, I guess I won't. Now that you guys have asked us to look at this company, and I'm actually looking, and it's like, holy cow.
We were thinking maybe Enron level or something like that, but no, this is Hollywood movie level corruption.
They had the world's largest oil platform, and it blew up, and then it sank.
It did.
I mean, they even have action film stuff in here.
To be fair, it lasted like 10 years, so before it exploded and sank into the ocean.
There's so much there. If you had the stock back then and you're holding them today, would I sell it? Probably not. Yeah. I just wouldn't buy more of it. I would wait and see, are they actually serious about cleaning it up? If they're serious about cleaning up this company, if you look at their net revenue and all their numbers, they look pretty good. It could be a good buy, but I don't see enough consistency from it. And it's, remember, these are the same people that went to jail in the first place.
Right.
So if they're serious about it and they do it, maybe a year from now we'll do another review on it. Maybe another year from that, 2024, we'll look at them again. Maybe they'll be a great buy at that point. But right now, there's so many clouds overhead this company that it doesn't feel like a safe investment. Why? Because there's so many other companies to buy. Dividend dudes, we bought Chevron. There's ExxonMobil. There's OXY. You can look at that company. There's Marathon. There's Sunoco. There's BP. There's a ton of companies out there that produce oil, and they're very profitable, that don't have all these crazy things going on. Do they pay turmoil? Do they pay a large dividend? No, they don't. Not like this company does. But if you look at the history of companies that pay small dividends, they tend to increase those dividends more consistently over time. And the companies that pay large dividends, either the stock price goes flat or it goes down, or their dividend gets decreased. Keep that in mind. When we're talking about buying stocks, We want to buy long term and we want to grow the capital. That's how Brian and I made our money. And when we started this channel, we started it for you. This is all for you. We started a whole new portfolio, $400 a month. We looked at the US Census and we said, okay, what is the average leftover household disposable income in video like way back, way back. And it was $400 a month. So we started a brand new portfolio at $400 a month, and we invest in one stock every month for $400. And we just did a video on the most recent purchase there. Yep. And that talks about what we're doing. Now, if you look at that video, we're doing quite well compared to the Standard & Poor's index fund, quite a lot. So we've done this for 20 years. We've been successful, but we figured that instead of showing you all the fancy stuff, we'd start at zero just so you could see how we did it. So when we talk about stocks and we're talking about PBR, you could take a risk and you could buy that, but we didn't make our money that way.
Right.
We made our money long term. We're trying to help you do that. So maybe later on we'll get a little bit riskier with some of the decisions that we make with stocks, but right now the portfolio is not large enough for us to recommend buying something with this many storm clouds over it.
And keep in mind that this dividend is special dividend. They've done 2, and there's 1 more coming up. So there is nothing in their history or in the future that guarantees that this dividend is going to stay. So if you're buying it for a huge dividend, if you didn't get in on the X date, then you're probably not going to get this high dividend again. But that's predicting the future in my crystal ball.
There probably will be a dividend. Will it be this large? Probably not.
Well, there'll be dividends, but
Right.
It'll go back down to a reasonable rate.
Right. There's a lot here. We encourage you, go to Wikipedia, go to Investopedia, maybe watch the Hollywood dramatizations.
Dramatizations?
Watch the Netflix series on that. And
Petrobras.
That one, yeah. But
yeah.
If you're going to buy the stock, our recommendation personally is to wait, especially if you don't have millions of dollars to throw away. Because remember, you worked for that money. Don't throw it away. It's not fun to work for money, lose it, and then have to work for it all over again.
Make it work for you.
Yes.
And that's why we're here doing this for you, because we're trying to build a community of wealth so that everybody around us gets wealthy as well, and can enjoy the financial freedom of that and what it brings.
If you want to send us more stock recommendations, please do that.
Yes.
But if it's Hollywood worthy, please notate that.
If it's going to take us 30 hours of research to figure it out, then make sure you say, yeah, this one's a fun one. Good luck.
Just kept going. Like I said, we got 3 pages of notes just into the corruption. I thought, well, at some point we got to turn this into a short video somehow.
And we keep drawing it out, and it's getting longer and longer as we talk.
Longer because there's a lot there. Just do your own diligence. Yep. Talk to your financial advisor, and you probably will be very fascinated by what you find and discover with this company. And it's a doozy.
Thank you guys so much for watching, because without you, we don't do this.
That's right.
And as always, happy investing.